Great. Welcome to Digital Asset News. Take a top stories in crypto, break them into bite-sized pieces. So today, just the thumbnail suggests, there was an approval from the courts to allow Celsius to sell their mined Bitcoin. And they have over 80,000 Bitcoin mining rigs. The question really is when will this be profitable and for how long? So we'll take a look at what's going on there. We'll also take a look at a problem with a Canadian pension firm, as they have lost $150 million to said Celsius. And also we'll take a look at, I don't know if these are new regulations or regulations that are just making the rounds from Canada for the top 4 cryptos that Canadians can buy unlimited, and they're the ones where they cannot. Also, we'll take a look at some good news. Kraken CEO is still bullish on Bitcoin, and an update to the step-in move to earn platform, which is actually quite exciting. And then lastly, we'll do a little Q&A. So first, let's just jump into a little what's going on with the market. And if you haven't watched the market, which I highly doubt, it's boring. It's boring and it's moving sideways, and nobody really cares that much, except for maybe somebody who's on a very low small cap gem. But hey, on the bright side, Ethereum is up 1.6%, but it's still below that 2,000 mark. Bitcoin's still below 24,000, and it's just. And you can look at it two ways: boring or it's holding. Whichever way, it's not that exciting, and that's just what the market's doing. It's kind of just chopping sideways until we see some big action, but nothing really going on. But there was one thing that gave me hope. This is from my favorite website now, Look Into Bitcoin. It's got these just 100% free charts you can take a look at. There was this thing that caught my eye. It was called Bitcoin Profitable Days. And it puts things in perspective because, as we shake our fists at the sky and say, why can't we moon? Why can't crypto continuously go up forever? It's because it just doesn't. But you have to take a look back. When in doubt, zoom out, all that good stuff. And just take a look at what are the profitable days? Well, I mean, all the way back in 2000, how long does it go to? 2010? You would be in profits all the way up until if you bought on roughly December 21st. No, not even then. Not December 24th. Like January 1st, somewhere around there. No, December 27th. You would be on an unprofitable day. So December 2020, January, February, March, April, May, June maybe? About June. Then you would be profitable again here in July. So for 6 months, if you've been buying like myself, it's okay. These are not profitable days. However, if we just take a look back and just go, well, I'm here for the long haul. I don't really care what happens in the short term, the 6 months, 1 year time frame. And just kind of take a look out 2, 3, 5 years. This is something that I think can give you a little bit of hope. So that's what's going on with the charts. Let's jump into today's top story, which is Celsius gets the court blessing to sell mined Bitcoin. And this is going to be interesting because, first of all, I do not mine Bitcoin. I'm sure many of you in the chats or who are coming in do or do other type of mining. As I understand it, it's profitable sometimes, but it's not always profitable depending on the algorithm and then how difficult it becomes and then how much competition there is, and a whole host of factors, and electricity being one of them. So when we talk about this, I think the big question is, I'm glad they're able to sell the mined Bitcoin, but as they move forward, will this make all of the creditors whole? We'll see. So here's what we got going on right now. So Celsius is allowed to sell its Bitcoin. The firm has received approval to mine and sell Bitcoins to support operations. Celsius has reportedly tamed opposition from its creditors committee by amending its proposal to specify that the proceeds from Bitcoin sales would be set apart from the company's cash for operations. I can only assume, correct me in the comment section, what they were probably thinking of doing is going, look, we are going to mine this Bitcoin and we're going to commingle it with everything because we have operational costs. And the committee says, no, you're going to stop doing that, and we're going to put our foot down and say you're not going to be allowed to do that if you're going to work together, and you're going to separate everything. And finally, it looks like they relinquish. This is what I think happens. Not 100% sure, but this is what we got. So moving on, the Department of Justice is still objecting to the plan. What we're really concerned with in this case is transparency. We don't have that type of visibility into the mining operations. For example, we have no understanding at this point in time what the debtor's utility-related costs are for running these mining rigs. Celsius said it received multiple cash injection offers to fund its restructuring process. Interesting. I wonder how much it actually was. The firm is scheduled to return to court on September 1st for approval on an auction process. All right. So we'll be covering that after September 1st. Celsius said it expects the mining business to be key to its restructuring efforts. It got permission to spend $5.2 million on construction and imports related to the business. Looks like they're still fleshing it out. Celsius does own 80,000 plus Bitcoin mining rigs, but only half of those are in operation. Half. As of July 13th, the company is mining an average of 14 Bitcoins per day. Well, that's good. It's sweet. It's nice. It's adorable. It expects to generate 10,000 Bitcoins this year. Okay, I like that. And 15,000 Bitcoins next year. Mining is generally affected by Bitcoin's volatility. It isn't always profitable. Celsius had plans to expand its mining rigs to 120,000 from the original 80,000, or actually 40,000 was up and running. But they weren't able to do that because of the bankruptcy. Celsius' financial woes are becoming more worrying after initially disclosing a $1.2 billion hole in its balance sheet. The firm has now said its deficit is actually $2.8 billion. Wow. So I don't know where that $1.6 billion came from the hole, but that's quite steep. And if we're taking a look at expects to generate 10,000 Bitcoins in a year and 15,000 Bitcoins next year. Let me just do something real quick. It's bugging me. Let's just say take 15,000 times, I don't know, this one. That's a $375 million at $25,000 for a Bitcoin, if it holds at that price. Let's say, for example, they can do 15,000 Bitcoin. Let's say Bitcoin goes up to 30,000. What do we got? $500 million roughly. That's not too bad. So I guess if you think about it, but that's with no operating costs whatsoever. And in my limited understanding of the Bitcoin mining operation, you still have some pretty high costs for the infrastructure, for the cooling process, of course, for electricity, which is the main one. And so that's not pure profit. It can't be. And then, of course, the rigs break down. You have to buy more rigs. And you have to buy the fastest ones. And, of course, it really is affected by how much competition there is. So right now, on paper, it sounds good, but we'll have to see exactly how much it is. And I'm really curious as to see what those liquid cash offers are, or those liquid offers are for funding for Celsius. I'm not for sure anybody would want to step in at a major position. Anyhow, let me know what you think about that in the comments section. Maybe there's a path forward. Maybe I'm just not looking at it correctly. Let me know in the comments section, and let's move on, which is unfortunately another problem. Canadian pensions. Canadian pensions around the globe, some are strong, some are not so great. And you have to keep replenishing. And there's a lot of different states here in the U.S. that also have problems with pensions. And this Canadian pension giant, Kais, writes off $150 million bet on Celsius. So this is what's going on. And it's a problem because, it seems like in crypto, sometimes you take one step forward and take a couple steps back. And sometimes it's two and one, but this is not a good look. I must admit, the optics are pretty crappy. The Canadian fund invested $150 million in Celsius in the fall of 2021. Oof. I guess not a bad time. Could have been better if they would have taken it all out, but sure. Kraken CEO Charles Eamon said the fund arrived too soon in a sector which was in transition. That's a pretty good way to say it, actually. Edmund added that Kais conducted extensive due diligence before its investment and is now exploring legal options. It's the same thing here. We've seen a lot of things going on where we've got a lot of, legal options going on. But as far as the due diligence, I think we all got lied to. That's really what it comes down to. And even though, like I said, after I came back consensus, put the video out on June 12th, seemed like it was just too late. Even though people do due diligence and they come forward and It's just like, I don't know, the optics of these is not the most impressive. And then also speaking about Canada, here's another thing that's come across the desk. And I don't think this is new. I think this is just rehash, because I saw this on a Reddit post about 7 months ago. And it talks about, and in all honesty, this is kind of clownish, but it states, if you live in an applicable province in Canada, net buy limits after the net amount of crypto is $30,000. These limits reset annually. After 12 months have passed, your limit will reset. And it says there's 4 unrestricted cryptos that do not count towards your limit. And that's Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and Bitcoin Cash. I don't know if they were looking at the offerings from Coinbase in 2017 or what. When you buy restricted cryptos, you can use some of your limit selling restricted cryptos and will add space back to your limit to a max of 30,000. You will have an annual net buy limit of 30,000 if you live in one of the following provinces. So New Brunswick, Newfoundland, Nova Scotia, Nunavut, Northwest Territories, Ontario, Saskatchewan, Yukon, Prince Edward Island. I think it's just odd. Like, again, I've seen this like 7 months ago. So if you live in Canada, I don't know if you can confirm this, but this is what's happening. But it makes me wonder, I'm like, do they understand how decentralized exchanges work? I mean, you could take, if it's an uncapped amount of buying that you can do for Bitcoin, Ethereum, why don't you just buy a bunch of Ethereum, just go to all the dexes that you want to and just purchase it over there, and then store it in your Nano Ledger wallets, or even on a hot wallet if you were so inclined, like MetaMask, and then that would be it. And then you just go back and just buy, wash, rinse, repeat. So I see these types of things and I'm wondering, like, I wonder if they know exactly how crypto works. It sounds like it may not be. Anyhow, let me let you think about that in the comment section. And then last piece is some good news. And I like to see these articles because it gives me a little bit of hope about what's happening. This is Jesse Powell, Kraken CEO, says he's still very bullish. He bought Bitcoin again at 18,000. He states, I would never bet against Bitcoin. And over on Dan Teaches Crypto Exchanges, there's a link in the description. I'm just going with 4 exchanges so far. And of course, I use these exchanges and I take it off my Nano Ledger. But I don't know if you knew this, but you know, FTX has been around since May 2019. You know how long Kraken's been around? July 2011. Isn't that amazing? It's a long time. 2011. Coinbase, July 2012. And then the last one I talk about is KuCoin, summer 2017. But I was kind of surprised. I'm like, Kraken's been around that long. Anyhow, I just think it's a good optics there for the CEO to say, yeah, I'm still bullish on Bitcoin. I bought it at 18,000. So there's that piece. Then also STEPN. STEPN, if you don't know, is a play to earn game, or play to earn, step to earn, move to earn, excuse me. And it's just, you download the app, then you have to buy an NFT of some sneakers, and they could range from like $60 all the way up to like $10,000. I don't know how much they are now. I know they're over 1,000. Some of them are pretty expensive. And I've used it. It wasn't my thing, but I do like to see these articles as we get more adoption. So run to earn game STEPN teams with Atletico de Madrid and crypto exchange Whalefin for an NFT sneaker collection. And this is what's happening. So they're going to sell digital soccer cleats, provides increased utility for both STEPN users and soccer fans. The sneakers are compatible with the app's Run to Earn game, and ownership will also provide exclusive access to physical Atletico de Madrid merchandise, in-person matches, and Whalefin airdrop. So again, if you're looking at like utility, that sounds pretty good. Exclusive access to merchandise, maybe get some discount, in-person matches, probably some reduction on the tickets, and then Whalefin airdrop, sure. STEPN has been growing its Solana-based fitness app over the past year. It has 122 million in second quarter earnings. Pretty amazing, probably from all the NFTs they're selling. And the NFT sneakers required for gameplay trade at a floor price of 1.58 SOL, which is worth about $65. So even though, like, I've done a couple of deep dives. Let's see. This is Dan Teaches Crypto. If you're not familiar with that, it's a 100% free website. Let me log in. And if you go over to reviews, I've done 2 deep dives. One was on STEPN. It's pretty lengthy, about 38 minutes. And also that and the difference between Sweatcoin. I personally like Sweatcoin more. I own both. I have both. I like both to do well. I'm very biased because I only talk about the things that I own. Shocker. But I like them both to do well. So, but me personally, I just like this one. I think it's got a little bit more upside, but I could be wrong. So let me know what you think about that in the comments section. And that is it for today. So that takes care of the news. And what we'll do now is we'll transition over to the Q&A, answer all your questions to the best of my abilities, and we'll go from there. If you got to take off, great. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. Hit that like button on your way out. And now let's jump into a little Q&A.